Hi! So, with the help of the lovely Ash, who is behind the camera right now, I am going to be making a really fancy dessert, and I thought that you would like to join me in my effort. So, this is what I'm going to try to make. Doesn't it look really fucking delicious? Well, let's hope that I can get it. So basically, I'm going to act like I have my very own cooking show and using the wonderful magical powers of video editing have the wonderful finished product. Bam. So it tells me that I have to draw 3 rectangles on the parchment paper on the cookie sheet, but I'm not going to do that because that's really precise and really annoying. I'm just going to eyeball it. I need 3 egg whites first. So actually, the first thing you're going to want to do is preheat your oven to 275 degrees Fahrenheit or 140 degrees Celsius. And then you're going to want to separate your egg whites from your yolks. It's actually really easy. You can basically just use the shell and kind of scoop the egg yolk back and forth, overlapping the shell a little bit. And then all of the white will fall down off the side and you are left with a yolk. That is not what I meant to do with this bowl. I meant to put the whites into my actual mixing bowl and then plop the yolk in there. Like if you're not careful enough, you could puncture the yolk with the eggshell and then you're kind of fucked. Most people would tell you to do this in a separate bowl from where you're mixing and then pour the egg whites one by one into it. Ooh. So then in case you happen to break, that's a really little shell, in case you do happen to break your yolk, your entire mixture isn't gone to shit. But I like to live on the edge. Now after that, we whisk the egg whites until soft peaks form. So, I like to hold my bowl when I whisk. I find it a lot easier to handle. So, most people would say when you're making meringue, because you have to basically whisk the mixture. You can see it's starting to really foam, and this is just the egg whites. When you're mixing the egg whites and also the egg white and sugar mixture, because that's basically all meringues are, they're usually like, use an egg beater or like a hand mixer because, you know, it'll go faster and, you know, it's a lot easier to do. But this recipe book is like, no, you are the egg beater. You must beat this mixture with your bare hands. So there you can see it's getting really foamy. Until soft peaks form, it said, I don't know, man, I don't see any peaks forming. So I'm probably gonna be at this for another 5 minutes or so. So now that I've been whipping for forever, you can now see that there are soft peaks starting to form. Remind you that this is just egg white. This is nothing fancy added to it. This is just about 2 or 3 minutes of beating egg whites. So now, while still whisking, I'm going to take superfine sugar, which I did not know existed until I got this recipe book, and add 3/8 of a cup into it gradually. And the last third, a little less because I overflowed on the last 8. Alright. And now we whisk again. After whipping this for a while, you can see that it is now very stiff and glossy. Heyo! And so it's pretty much ready for the next step. So it wants me to add the rest of the 3/4 a cup of sugar that I needed, so that's the other 3/8, as well as cornstarch and grated chocolate. Well, I didn't bother buying a whole friggin' chocolate bar because I have chocolate chips. And I was like, well, I can just smash these. Well, that didn't exactly work. And then I remembered that I had this handy dandy little food processor. So I put my chocolate chips in it, put it shut, and it's like I'm trying to start a really tasty lawnmower. Great arm muscles. And then what you are left with is this really nice, it's not grated, but it's nice crumbled kind of chocolate. Oh, it's tasty. Want to try some? And now if you are, or other people watching this, do not know what folding is, it's kind of exactly what it sounds like. You're going to want to just basically fold your mixture on top of itself. You're not really gonna mix it per se, but just like get it blended just enough because you don't want to fuck with the mixture you already have. So there's that, and then cornstarch. Fold that in. All nice, so everything's all, make sure there's no crumblies anywhere. Scrape off the bottom. I'm gonna add my chocolate. Probably have a little bit too much, but oh well. Personally, I don't think you can ever have too much chocolate because it's motherfucking chocolate. See, you can tell a little bit more of the contrast. We're just kind of taking it all and folding it over on itself. Not really mixing, just making sure that all the dry ingredients get moist. I'm going to take this mixture and put it into a pastry bag. I'm not going to do that because I don't have a pastry bag. But you know what you can use if you don't have a pastry bag? A Ziploc bag. So we're just going to cut an itty bitty corner because you can always take away but you can't add back.
You can always take away but you can never add back. Just ask Bucky.
You're a horrible person. So this is difficult to do. But now I have my bag. And so I'm gonna close off the top, which may be a little bit difficult. Oh, look, more for me. Alright. As you can see, there's not really a whole lot coming out. Don't you dare make any "that's what she said" jokes.
Well, not now.
So I'm basically, it says pipe a bunch of lines on this parchment paper, and it said it'd be like, oh, 4 inches by 10 inches, and I'm like, well, fuck you. There are people that will argue that cooking is a science. There are people that will argue that cooking is an art. I argue that it is both, because there is beauty in science and mathematics and art. However, when it comes to stuff like this, I'm just kind of like, well, sometimes the tastiness and beauty of the food is that there's no precision to it. There's no exact measurement to it, which is why sometimes I like to eyeball ingredients quite a bit. Now that we have our meringue all done up, we're going to bake it for 1.5 hours. So they're finally done. Technically I'm supposed to make a double boiler and put boiling water in a pot and then put another pot on top of that and melt chocolate using that. I am tired now and I don't think I'm gonna do that. So here is the finished meringue, and it calls for raspberries, but raspberries were on sale a week and a half ago and they're not on sale anymore. So I bought blueberries instead. So I'm going to have chocolate and blueberries instead of doing this whole double boiler bullshit. I'm just gonna melt some chocolate chips in the microwave. And the best way to do that is to put it in the microwave for a little bit. I'm gonna stir it. And put it in the microwave. I'm gonna stir it. The recipe is also telling me to wait even longer and put chocolate on 2 of the 3 meringue pieces, let it set, and then put whipped cream and shit on it. Well, again, I'm kind of done waiting for this fucker to finish cooking. So we're going to put the chocolate all over the meringue. Somebody likes whipped cream, obviously. The person who wrote this recipe really fucking likes whipped cream. I would also like to mention that I whipped this whipped cream entirely by hand. I did not use a hand mixer, even though I was cursing the high heavens while I was whipping it. Do I push down on it, or?
It looks like you would, because of how the picture looks.
They're squished, but I don't know. It looks like my meringues are like taller.
Not anymore.
See, I can make the top look nice. As long as the top looks nice, it doesn't matter what's all in the middle, because you can't see the fucking middle. So we got that. Now, the last of the chocolate. And that is a blueberry chocolate meringue.
Oh my gosh. That's fucking good.
Not bad. I've made better meringues, but this is pretty good. So good. So, now that I've decided, and Ash as well, that this is good, I will be posting the recipe down below. Yeah. So, I hope you enjoyed this video, Ara, because while it may be tedious and time consuming, it's really fucking good.